Blake.
Hey, Blake.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good.
I'm Joey. This is Dustin here. Just been chatting for a while.
Okay, sweet.
Thank you for taking the time today, sir. Appreciate you.
Anytime.
So where are you calling from now, Blake?
Just got home. So when we were on tour on the last date of the tour we just got off of, we were pulling into the exit. We were less than a mile away from the venue, and the rear axle of our bus just snapped. So,
oh my God.
Yeah, it sucked so hard. And where are you guys based out of?
I'm in the LA area, and Joey's
I'm in Minnesota. I'm just north of you.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're just north of us. Yes, because I'm in Iowa, and I'm not used to that Memphis heat, bro. And like that air was thick, dude. Like, can you guys see my notifications going on? It sucked down there.
Oh man,
dude, it sucked.
Bro, I was in Des Moines at the beginning of June, and it was hotter in Des Moines than it was in LA.
No kidding. I know we get a lot of humidity. Is it humid much out there in LA?
Where I'm at a little bit, because I'm a little bit north of the beach. I'm kind of out in the burbs, like almost Santa Barbara, Conejo Valley area, like Woodland Hills,
okay,
type area. But
yep.
but yeah, it was a trip because Des Moines actually too. I hadn't been there in such a long time. Very cool city. Like I was actually really impressed. I had a great time in Des Moines.
Yep, I love Des Moines. It's such a good time. It's about 4 hours from where I'm at. So
okay,
yeah.
Well, a lot of great bands.
Iowa is just cornfields and pig farms. So
yeah,
still like 90% of it.
Yeah, but there's spots I said Illinois, didn't I? Iowa. But there's spots of Iowa that are absolutely gorgeous, like on the river and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, anything on the east side of Iowa is awesome. You get over by Davenport and Keokuk and Dubuque and everything. I mean, it's really nice over there.
Yeah.
Yep.
My dad went to college, and I lived in Ames as a kid, so I spent quite a bit of time there. My grandfather lived in Des Moines, so.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, so you're an Iowa State guy. Your dad was.
Yeah, my dad was an Iowa State graduate.
Awesome. We're Hawkeyes, so I mean, we're gonna have to really bicker about that.
No, it's cool. My grandpa was a Hawkeyes fan, so there was always like as long as Iowa State wasn't playing the Hawkeyes, it was cool. Like we're Iowa State as long as they're not playing the Hawkeyes.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we're the same way. I root for both of them. I'm not too. I grew up in a Hawkeyes fan, but as long as Iowa's playing and Iowa's winning, I'm fine with it either way.
Well, a lot of great bands come out of Iowa, man. Slipknot, and then we just talked about some of our favorite records. And have you ever heard of the band Modern Life is War?
I have not.
Okay, well, they're from Marshalltown, but they're a hardcore band that I love out of Iowa too. So,
okay, no, I'll look into it.
Don't feel bad, Blake. I never heard of them either.
You didn't either? Yeah.
No.
You know what? I thought they were super obscure, but I've worn the shirt like out in public, and a couple times had dudes come up and then like high five me like so.
Oh, okay. They could name the 3 songs.
Yeah.
Like that whole meme thing, like name 3 songs. Yeah. Awesome.
So you just finished a tour with Memphis Mayfire and Norma Jean, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
What was it like touring with those guys?
It was the best tour we've ever done. There was such a good camaraderie between us bands, and like the mentality of like our job is get in there, get the sound check, do your job, rock the house, high five, and we're on to the next one. And like everybody had that mentality, and like we got to certain spots, like when we were in Gainesville, Florida, like the venue didn't provide any like hands, to help load in or out after the show. So like, Memphis Mayfire or Norma Jean gets done, and like they're getting ready to roll off stage. All the Saul boys and our couple crew are in there. We're loading them off. We're getting them packed up. Memphis Mayfire gets off the stage, and we're loading them guys up, and we're loading in and out with those guys, and we're all just high-fiving, having some drinks, and like we just are there to put on like a kick-ass rock show, no matter how it happens. And like everybody had that mentality, and it was great. It was great. That's seeing awesome. Maddie and Kellen, grab some of our gear and like, come on, boys, you know what I mean? Like everybody was that. It wasn't like headliner down, everybody was just like, let's kick him in the teeth and keep going. It was great.
Well, I've never met the guys from Memphis, but I've met Norma Jean dudes, and they're just so down to earth and so nice, and that's awesome.
I absolutely love those dudes. Love those dudes. We had such a good time with them on the road, so I would do anything for those guys, honestly. And I told Maddie, I'm like, this is the Remade in Misery tour, but you got to understand, I'm the king of it. So.
So growing up in the Midwest, Blake, what do you like to do for fun when you're not on tour or anything?
Honestly, I'm just constantly tinkering with stuff. We make our own light productions, and we do stuff like that. And I'm always programming lights or doing something along that line. Welding up a new light truss, anything like that. Anything that will. One, make it easy to travel on the road, and two, something that's always newer than what we just did the last time. So I'm always tinkering with something like that. I love doing stuff like that. I recently just got into, I bought a laser engraver. So I recently the flasks and the Zippos and all that stuff that we bring on tour. I've been making art myself now. So I like tinkering. I like doing stuff like that. Anything that's like that, I like doing that.
That's really cool. But you're really handy and stuff with building things.
Yeah. I've done that kind of stuff off and on for a lot of years, and handyman stuff. And my neighbor will call and be like, "Hey, my sewer's backed up," and I'll go get an auger and I'll clean out our sewer for her. And I just anything like that. Hey, I got a window broke or whatever, and I'll replace a window. It's just I like doing stuff like that. So it's always fun.
Well, we were just talking to CJ from Drowning Pool last week, and he's very handy and stuff too. And he says he'll fix stuff for venues when he's on the road. And then when 2020 hit, he had something to fall back on when there was no touring and stuff. So that's really cool.
He's like a full electrician.
Yeah.
Oh, is he really? Yeah. Well, I went to right before Brother blew up. I was on my second year of my plumbing apprenticeship. So I've done a lot of plumbing. I do a lot of stuff like that. I still do stuff like that just for, a buddy that's doing a project, and he'll call me up and be like, "Yep, I'm on my way," So it's always fun, and it's always something to fall back on too.
Yeah. That's exactly what he said. He was like, we took a break with COVID, and I had something to fall back on. The other thing that I thought was cool with CJ is being an electrician, he's a guitar player. So he's modding guitars and amps. And I was like, man, you got to have a YouTube channel where you mod guitars. I'll watch that all day.
Yeah, no, that'd be super cool. I'd be totally into that too. Yeah. I love that stuff. Zach's actually been tinkering around. He had one of his old Schecter 7-strings. I know he's been tinkering around, and he's going to put new pickups on it, and he's sanded it down, and he's going to be refinishing and, just stuff like that. He's got a little workshop in his basement. So he's in the same boat. He does all that stuff, but he's more of our electrical guy when it comes to the band. I'm more of the build it, figure it out, and make sure it can travel kind of guy. And he's he handles all the rack and the programming of the songs, and he does all that stuff. So it's pretty nice.
That's super cool.
Well, can you tell us a little bit, maybe just give us a minute or two history of the band for any listeners that aren't familiar with you guys? And
Yeah. So the band started, we've been playing since high school. So Zach and I have been playing together forever. And he's my brother. He's my 1 year younger brother. He's actually the one that got me into music because I started as a bass player, and that's one of my main things that I can do. And he just called me up one day, and he's like, "Hey, our bass player sucks. Do you want to come play bass for us?" I've never picked up an instrument in my life, and I went and bought a bass that day, and rock and roll music corrupted my mind ever since. So we've been playing together forever, and so we always started. We were like the Saul brothers, the Bedsaul brothers, and we were just doing that sort of thing, and just working full time, and then playing gigs on the weekends, doing stuff like that. And in 2018, we decided hey, let's either do it or don't. You know what I mean? Kind of shit or get off the pot thing. Let's go full bore. And so we got Willie Boy, our bass player, and then at the time we had Joe Nichols, our drummer at the time, but he recently quit in 2020. He wanted to have kids and do the whole life thing. And once we did that and we released the track Brother, we were like, this is either going to blow up and we're going to do the thing, or it's not, and we're just going to continue working and plumbing and doing the whole thing. And yeah, it just blew up. And and since then we've got Miles, our drummer, which is that guy's a jack of all trades. He's very good at pre-production. I mean, he's a great drummer, great guitar player. So it's great to have him. He's a good asset, very good asset to the team. And yeah, and now we're doing the thing.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
So
I noticed, Joey.
Oh, go ahead, Dustin.
I was gonna say, I noticed watching some of our stuff as I'm editing it. Me and you say "that's awesome" in unison a lot.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Oh, so this second album here, how do you guys go about the writing and stuff? You all live pretty close together and you can get together and write songs, or do you do the online thing?
We do some online stuff. Miles is down in Columbia, Missouri, and Willie Boy, our bass player, in Lincoln, Nebraska. So nobody's too terribly far away. But okay. My brother Zach, I bought a house right behind the alley from my brother Zach. So we are literally, I can spit on his house from my place. So it's really cool. And my dad lives a block away too, so which is really cool. But one thing we did on this record is we did some pre-production, we did some stuff. But when we got in the studio, we just decided to go ground up on everything. We're in here, and like, it's not like we were in our place recording something or just coming up with ideas. We're just like, let's come up with an idea and let's just riff it out and let's do everything from the ground up. So that's really, we did every song like that on the record, and it turned out, I mean, I couldn't be happier with it. When we did the last album, Rise as Equals, we brought in 3 or 4 songs and then reworked them and did stuff like that. And sometimes I feel like that can be a little more challenging, of reworking a song and trying to, you're almost like at a point where you're like trying to force it to fit rather than just like coming up with something fresh on the spot and just going for it. So we decided to do that on this record. And yeah, I think every song turned out like with its own flavor and its own flair. And it turned out exactly the way we wanted to.
Yeah. Well, Tim, your publicist, sent it to me probably close to a month ago now. So I've been enjoying it for about a month, rocking it quite a bit. The title, where did that come from, and what's the meaning behind that?
Yeah. And I will clarify first, like right off the hand, it's not the last record Saul's going to do. So let's.
I figured not.
Yeah. We've had a lot of people ask, like, this is your last record. As soon as we put out the title of the record, people were like devastated, but it's not our last record. It's just the concept of the record. So the idea is, so I have a daughter that just turned 14 years old, and like she has this like concept of like the world of like seeing people on Instagram and TikTok and like how great and grandiose, life is. Like they're on vacation all the time, they're doing the thing. And like the whole concept of the record is most of that stuff is put on. Like it's, you don't know what's fake, what's real when it comes to social media anymore. People are just, everything's clickbait. Everything's just there for the likes. So that's really what the concept of like the title is. Like, this is at the end of everything. We're losing that personal connection. Mm-hmm. We're losing that idea of what we know is real, because with AI and like people just putting on fronts of like their life is so perfect when they're really struggling with mental health and paying their own bills and doing all that stuff. And this is at the end of everything is really that sort of concept. And we dove in really hard with the song A Million Miles, where in the music video, and I'm a huge fan of like the show Black Mirror. Like I love Black Mirror, like Outer Limits, Twilight Zones. I love those kind of, every single story is its own individual story. So when it came to like the concept of the video and the song is when they are in a moment where they have to recharge their VR and they have to recharge what they consider like the perfect life, they are so like at each other's throats and like depressed, and they're not in the system anymore. So that's really what the concept of A Million Miles is, when they're not looking at your phone, and like you can be sitting within reach of somebody and still be a million miles away, just tweeting about something rather than having a normal conversation, talking about something while you're having your coffee, you know what I mean? So yeah, we really dove into that. And like in the video, it finally turns green at the end, and like they're stopped fighting each other, and then they just all smiles. They're back in the VR, back in what they consider like the new reality. And like, it's really just talking about, you don't have to be like that. Just get out there and live it a little bit. You don't have to be on your phone capturing every moment. Catch it in your head. Tell the story. People love stories. I love story time. So, just do that.
Yeah.
A little more. I mean, I'm not saying take it away completely. I'm not saying like change exactly the way we're doing things. I'm just saying sometimes just think about not trying to capture the homeless guy on the street on your phone for clickbait and like, doing shit like that. It's just, I find it super annoying.
Yeah, maybe instead of filming him, like buy him some dinner or something.
Have a conversation with him.
Yeah.
Try
to find out why he's homeless.
Yeah. I'm a super small town guy. I live in a town of like 600 people, and like when we're on the road, I'm a sucker for like, hey man, you got $1? Hey man, you got $1? And I do that constantly. Like I give away my per diem like freaking every damn week because I'm just a sucker for it. And I don't ever videotape it. I don't talk about it. It's just something I do, Yeah.
Man, you got to be careful about that. I had this experience one time that was so funny. It sticks out to me so much. This kid walked up to me at a gas station and asked me if I had any money. And there was this woman behind me, and she goes, just like without even hesitating, she's like, "Motherfucker, you ain't poor. Look at your shoes." And I turned around and look at the guy's shoes. He's got these like pristine Nikes on, and I was just like, wow, I never would have thought to look at the guy's shoes. But this lady was street smart enough to go, this guy ain't poor.
I cannot believe you said that. I can't believe you said that, because that's my brother Zach is so like savvy. He like, I don't know, he just understands like his surroundings. Same damn thing. He's
look at their shoes.
Always like, hey, buck, here's $5, here's whatever. And then he's like, look at their damn shoes. And that's I look down, the guy's wearing brand new, clear, like pristine white K Swisses. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, dude. Because if he was actually homeless, like actually needed it, he'd be wearing ripped up freaking whatever shoes. I'm like, that totally makes sense to me.
Southern Californians are so generous, man. People, and it's very wealthy. There's a lot of wealth here, and there's a lot of very generous people. People will park at the, the off ramps and make $500-600, I'm sure, just standing there with the sign. So it's like, you gotta.
Yeah.
But I feel you, man.
Totally
I'm like you. I just want to help people.
Yeah. And like, it's like, obviously, if it's $1, I can't hardly buy anything with $1 anyway. And if somebody comes up to me like, "Hey man, I need $1 to make whatever." Yeah, here's $1. Here's $1. Here's $1. Here's a cigarette. Here's a whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's no skin off my back. I'm still going home at the end of it. And if I think the guy's still going to be sitting in Memphis like sweltering heat on the side of the street, yeah, I'm probably going to give a buck.
Yeah, you do what you can.
Yeah.
So your other music video, Blake, Tooth and Nail, I don't know if you want to talk about that. That was well done.
Yeah. And one thing I do want to say about the music videos that I think is really cool, and we did post this on TikTok, but and Instagram Reels, but all the sets for the music videos, me, Zach, Will, and Miles, we built all the sets. So Yeah. So there was this big open warehouse down in St. Louis. We worked with Juan Ibanez, and really great guy, really great camera work and editing. He's so fast. He's really good. And brought the concepts to him. So I brought all the concepts to him, and he's like, great. And then cleared out this entire warehouse. So we went in, built all the walls, hung all the sheetrock, did everything. We built everything, and they turned out great. And like, one thing that he brought to the idea is making that mirrored room that we did Tooth and Nail in. And he's like, I got this idea. And he bought all the materials. We hung this mirrored room, and it just turned out so freaking awesome. The floor's mirrored, all the walls are mirrored. And like, I didn't know how he was going to do it, but obviously it worked. I'm like, how are you not going to catch yourself? Like, how is it not going to be a guy with a camera, just videotaping us, but he's like, it's just the angles and blah, blah, blah. He had it all figured out. He knew what he was doing. But it was great. It turned out great. Tooth and Nails video is one of my favorites we've done. It just turned out so cool. And like, one thing that is great about Juan, what he did is he captured the real, like, me doing little dumb sketches of like, this is what I'm thinking, and texting it to him, and this is what I'm thinking for the concept, and texting it to him, and he's like, yep, we can do that. And, they just turned out even better than I was thinking, honestly.
That was awesome. There we go again, Dustin. I just caught myself.
At least I didn't say it at the same time.
Yeah, no
because that's what I noticed. Like every time we're both like, "That's awesome."
Yeah. Awesome.
So Blake, one thing I like to do when I interview about an album, I talk about a couple of the singles, but then kind of do a little deep dive and talk about some of the tracks that maybe haven't made it on the singles or something yet. But I really liked The New Low. Great riffs in there. And I was just wondering, I don't know if you write the lyrics and stuff, but like, what was your inspiration behind the lyrics there? And, was that about a specific person or just an idea or what?
Yeah, I do write, I'll say 98% of the lyrics. There is always feedback from other guys if they, have have an idea based on the concept I throw out. So everybody, if I'm having trouble writing a line or saying something right, they're like, "Oh, what about this?" And I'm like, nailed it. You know what I mean? So that's really where their input comes from on the lyric side. But The New Low, I'm glad you brought that one up too, because that one was almost one of our singles. It was so close. But that song is like factual. I'm saying some real stuff in there. My niece is just turned 21 and she got really bad into drugs. And like my wife and I were over all the time and just like, "Hey, you don't have to be going down this path or whatever, move in with us, kind of, take care of yourself."
Mm-hmm.
But, I say in the song, like, "You were 4 states away, making a scene high on the mean." And I'm talking like methamphetamine and like she was down in Arkansas and like with who we don't even know who with. And like they kicked her out of the car. She was like butt naked on the side of the road. The cops picked her up down in Arkansas. She made like the news and I'm like, what is going on? And and like one of these days we're going to read your name in the obit page, the obituary, just because you're going down such a dark path. And it's real lyrics. All of our songs are real life experiences. And, it's pretty much just, kind of like we can't help you anymore because you can't help yourself. Like you've reached such a point that you are the new low, you are the new standard. So that's kind of what we're saying,
Yeah, I found that song stuck in my head quite often over the last few weeks and stuff like that. And yeah, it's just got musically as well, just a great song.
Thank you. Yeah.
Do you mind talking about some of the inspiration behind some of these songs?
No, I like it.
Okay. Us AD, that was another one that kind of stuck out to me.
Yep. So the guitar player and myself are brothers, and in 2019 we lost our mom. And when we were doing the record Rises Equals, we were trying to do this. We were actually working with Mark from Nothing More at the time, and we really loved their song Fade In, Fade Out. And we're like, "Mark, let's bring you in. Let's help us write our Fade In, Fade Out." We couldn't get it happen. It was almost too fresh for us at the time. And like threw a lot on his plate with that, just, telling him like, "Hey, this is what it's about." And like, you know what I mean? It was too much. It was too much. And so when it came to doing this record, we started writing this song and no concept was out yet. And then we started coming up with some lyrics and doing the thing. And I'm like, I'm going to write it from my dad's perspective of losing mom. And we had no call tag. We had no title for it yet. And we just kept going through it and then just kind of come up with these call tags and everything. And Zach just goes, "How about Us AD, Us After Death?" And I'm like, "Bro," so we reworked some of the lyrics there and like just really pinpointed it to the idea and the concept of my dad's point of view of losing mom. And like, this is life after losing you. And it's, and I'm pretty much just kind of waiting for you to come back. So, it was a really tough one. And, when I said lyrics, like, it's okay to go. And like, everybody's like, "Boom, dumb. That's crazy. It's too real." So that one, I'm super glad we got that one done and like off our chest, for our mom and for dad, because I just think it turned out to be such a great song.
What does your dad think of it?
He loves it. My dad, he has the new record, and like he loves this entire record. Even more than Rises Equals, which he loved, and just he loves the song, and like he knows how real it is, and like emotionally charged it is, and you know, it was pretty teary-eyed the first couple times we listened to it. I mean, even our daughters, the first time I showed it to them when we got back from the studio, they're all, you know, crying and everything, and you know, it's a real thing. It's a real song, you know.
Yeah. Well, I got that feeling on the album. I mean, you guys did a great job producing, writing, all that stuff. Music's really catchy. But the one thing that kind of grabbed me, it did feel like, even though I don't understand where all these lyrics and stuff came from, it feels real. It feels like this is real life. And I feel like that really came across in the album.
Good. I mean, because that's one thing we really try to strive for when we're doing, you know, music, when we're writing songs, is like we really dive in on the lyric and like the basis and the idea of the songs. Because one thing we try to do, we call them lifelong songs, is because even though it's direct experiences I've had, it's still, when we put it out there and we really experienced it with Brother, is when you put the song out there, they're like, I lost my brother in, you know, 2019, I lost my brother in 2012, you know, and like, it's like, even though it's my experience, it's everybody's experience as well. So that's why I try to write from such a introspected, you know, spot in my life. So, because it defines somebody else's moment in their life as well. So it's just the way it is. And I'm not an emotional guy. I don't talk about my feelings. I bottle stuff up, and that's just the way it is. So when it comes to the songs, it's everything is real, and it's real life experiences. So that's my moment that I push it out there and I tell everybody about it.
Yeah, that must be very therapeutic then for you to, if you normally bottle, to have an outlet where you can just let it all out that way.
Yeah, it really does help, you know. I mean, but on the other hand, I get super nervous about releasing a record too, because I don't talk about my feelings. So when I put it all out there on a record, I'm like, God, they're going to hate it. They're going to hate it. I know it. So
don't be nervous about this one, man. This is a great album. I've seriously been rocking it for a while. Yeah, it's great.
Awesome. Thank you.
People feel if it's genuine too, like the sentiment's genuine, it's coming from a genuine place. I think that really translates. People catch that.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they catch the authenticity of it and like the real nature of it, and you know, and especially having, you know, a backstory of like, I can tell you exactly what this song's about. You know what I mean? So I think that's a cool part of it too.
Yeah.
Better as a Memory. I wanted to ask you about that one as well. What's the story?
Yeah, that one. That came from kind of a dark spot, you know, in my life. You know, right around the lockdown, I felt like with the album coming out and everything, I felt like we were on like the rocket up. You know what I mean? We were the next big thing. Revolver Magazine's like the next big thing. Loudwires is the next big thing. You know, so when we had that nosedive, when it came into COVID and we still released our record and everything, I very much get into my own, like, you know, like, I'm just going to go off and do my own thing to like my wife and kids and everybody. And, you know, I was drinking a lot, and I was just being dumbass, like depressed myself. You know what I mean? That's the way I was. And I didn't know what else to do. So it's pretty much my apology song to my wife and kids of like, you know, I'm sorry that I was dragging you down at that time. It wasn't easy for anybody. And I was thinking I was making it even harder. So, you know, cut me loose, because deep down, you know, I'd be better as a memory, because like, you just need to cut me loose for the moment. You know what I mean? That's really, you know, so I'm apologizing, really.
Wow. You really did bury your whole soul on this, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
That's what art's for.
Yeah, I think so. If you're going to do it, I mean, might as well do it to the fullest, you know?
Completely.
One other thing. Who does the majority of your guitar writing and stuff? Is that your brother then?
Yep. And you know what was great about this record too is because Zach does the majority of it, you know, and he does a lot of it, you know, and even like pre-production here and having riffs and just having a riff when we go to the studio. But a great thing is Miles, our drummer, he's a great guitar player as well. And then Kyle Odell, he's a monster guitar player. So, and that was a big reason Zach wanted to work with Kyle Odell. And because when it comes to studio work and who we're going to work with, Zach picks who we're going to work with. And this is the reason why we're working with them, kind of thing. And he just explains it to me. I'm like, cool, I'll party with whoever. So having those three guys, Zach, Miles, and Kyle, you know, in there in the studio, all chunking over a riff and like really defining it. It was a great thing to see. You know, I wish I was a little more open and I caught a little bit more of it on my phone just to have for, you know, footage and stuff like that. But I'm so in the moment that I'm just, you know, jiving with it and going with it. So, but yeah, those three together was it was very, very cool.
That's cool. Yeah, that song Runaway, I noticed the time signature in that song is like, it's totally different than your normal 4/4. I'm not that big of a musician, so I can't break it all down, but I could really tell that one's got a cool time signature and different kind of thing going on.
Yeah. And like, okay, so like a great story, like a backstory behind Runaway is I'm in the studio, I'm finishing up vocals for the song The Last Parade. And Zach just, in between one of my takes, Zach's like, I got this idea. I'm going to go back to the hotel. I'm going to lay something down and see if, you know, let's see where it goes from there. He gets back to the hotel, comes back a couple hours later, has the entire music bed down for Runaway. So he gets back and we're like, boom, love it. This is freaking awesome. And so since it was all scratch tracks and everything, we re-recorded, he re-recorded all the guitars and we did the drums and we did all that stuff. And, you know, and it really happened really, really fast. Like within like 40 minutes, I'm like pretty much cutting the chorus because we got the chorus and then like, all right, you know, and I got the verse down and the idea was like, I got to get out of the studio. It's already been like 42 days we've been down here and I'm running from myself. I'm, you know, treat me like a runaway because I'm vanishing and like I'm laying out all these lyrics and everybody's loving it and everything. And we get the whole song done. And it was the very last song of the record. And it just happened so fast. And it turned out it's my favorite track on the record, honestly.
Oh, really?
And it was
that's cool.
Yeah. Yep. And like it just happened so fast that literally before we could wrap our minds around it, we're cranking it back. We're like, dude, we're done. That's it. Good job, guys. Let's head home. You know what I mean? So it was a great ending to the whole thing, especially just Zach to come back and like, boom, here it is. And me just go like I'm running and like just laid it out there that fast. And it was super awesome.
Yeah. Dustin, if you hadn't heard that track and I don't know how much time you had to listen to the album, but that's it. You might like that one. It's got different things going on.
The promo link that you sent me, I didn't work for some reason. So I just listened to what I could on Spotify, but I'll definitely have to do a deep dive into discography.
Yeah.
When does the album come out?
July, this Friday, July 28th.
This Friday. Okay, great.
Yep. And that's actually so on the day the album drops, we are releasing the music video for Runaway as well.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yep. And we've you guys know like Quantum Leap?
Yeah.
The show Quantum Leap. So,
Al, why haven't we left yet?
Yeah, exactly. So we almost had Scott Bakula for this video. This freaking close. Bro, I wanted Scott Bakula so bad I could taste it. It was the very first thing I brought up about doing music videos.
Oh, that's
Scott
amazing.
Bakula. So he had scheduling conflicts. Otherwise, he was going to do it. So we that idea of the quantum leap and like the idea of the song is like, you know, and like going back to my daughter of like, not everything you see on TikTok and Facebook is real. I mean, it's generally 50% of it is like made up for clickbait. And so the idea is like, he jumps from life to life to life, you know, for a moment in the music video. And then at the end of it, the doctor, because it's called the Runaway Project in the music video, and he's signing this waiver and everything. And the doctor's like, so what do you choose? And he just goes, my life, because everybody has problems. He sees that everybody's, you know, dealing with stuff and doing the whole thing. And that's kind of what I'm trying to explain in the song and the video, that, you know, it's not all hunky dory. Everybody's going through something.
Joey, just in case, have you seen Quantum Leap?
No, I'm not much of a TV guy. So
it's about this guy. It's an older show too. It's about this guy who leaps into different people's bodies in like different periods of history, and he has to fulfill something. And then when he's done, he leaps into a different body, basically.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
And the reason I remember it so well, there's this rapper I like who has this line. He's like, "Ow, why haven't we leapt yet?" in one of his songs. And like, that's the, like when Scott Bakula thinks he's finished the thing that he's supposed to do, he's supposed to leap. And then in almost every episode, he's like, "Why haven't we leapt yet? Like what haven't we completed yet?" Type thing.
Yeah. It's so good, dude. It's so good.
It's a great show. It's a
When
great
did
show.
the show come out?
It's like the 80s,
Right,
I
90s?
think. 80s, 90s. Yeah, 90s
Oh, wow.
actually.
80s, 90s.
You're right.
Something. Yeah. It was before my time, but I mean, I catch him. I've watched it all.
Yeah, I was really young. I remember when it aired. It wasn't like I was probably like not their demographic, right? Like I was probably like 10 or 11 or something. But
Yep. Same. Yeah, it was just something that was on TV, and I didn't care.
There's so many shows like that. I look back, I was like, I used to watch Cheers all the time when I was like 12. I'm like, what the hell was I doing watching Cheers? It's because it was on after cartoons.
Yeah. And I'm laughing along with them, and I don't get half the jokes. At the time I did. And now it's just like, oh shit, they're talking about like being drunk and doing something dumb. So it's okay.
Yeah.
So Blake, you said your axle broke down. That was down in Memphis when you were on tour.
Memphis. Yeah.
So did you make it up to Wisconsin for Rockfest in mid-July?
By the skin of our teeth, and it was like the best show we've ever done in our entire lives. So it took us forever, bro. Took us forever to get anything rented. The U-Hauls they were renting couldn't leave the city. Couldn't leave city limits. We couldn't rent anything that would haul our trailer. Finally we went out to the airport and we rented a couple pickups. We went to Walmart, bought a couple tarps, we tarped everything, and we just flew up to Wisconsin as fast as we could. It's like 13, 14 hours from Memphis. And we pull in that morning, no sleep or nothing, and just rocked the house. Like, it was huge crowd. It was just amazing. It was amazing. But we just looked at each other and we're like, we're not missing the very last show on this tour, especially Rockfest. We know everybody's going to be there. And like, it turned out to be amazing. We made it happen. And and then went straight back to Memphis and waited on the bus. And yeah, it was awesome. It was super cool.
Yeah, I was hoping to get there this summer, but I had major knee surgery a couple months ago. So I'm still in a wheelchair right now, recovering. So I didn't make it there, but it was good.
Yeah. It was awesome.
That's cool. I also saw plans for the rest of the year. It looks like you guys are going on tour with Red.
Yes, super stoked about going out with Red. Been a fan of those guys for a long time. I think it's just going to be awesome. And the cool thing is we're hitting some of the same markets we just did with Memphis Mayfire. So it'll be cool to get back to there after just like a month or two of a break. And then we've been hounded about getting back to Texas. So we got 3 Texas dates coming up in November. It's legit. We're super excited about it.
Yeah, I saw you guys are coming through Minneapolis. I think it's in October and
mid-September, I think.
Or September. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm gonna make it to that show and hopefully I can meet you face to face or something like that. But I think you guys are playing the Caboose. Have you ever been there at that venue before?
No.
Oh, it's really weird because like a lot of venues they go kind of lengthwise, and this one's like super wide. So it's just a really weird venue to play in, and
okay,
it'll be interesting. See if you like it.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting. We heard it's going to be interesting.
Have you played many shows up in the Twin Cities here?
No, it's been a while. We were there with the Treyu in 21 was the last time we were there.
Okay.
Yep.
Are you guys getting out to the West Coast on this tour?
Nope, not on this run.
No, okay.
Not on this run.
We gotta wait.
Yeah, because last time we were there was with the Treyu as well. We did Santa Cruz and Santa Ana with them.
Okay.
So, it's been a while.
Well, hopefully we'll see you out here soon.
Yeah. Well, Santa Ana, are you far from like Anna? Like it's all like.
Yeah, it's like an hour. It's like an hour. I just
okay.
saw Under Oath and Periphery out there a little while ago.
Okay. Yeah, dope. Yeah, because it was great venues, man. Like, it was really cool to be out there. That was our first time in California area, and like, I got actually 3 cousins that live out in the one in San Diego, and then 2 up in the LA area. So
Okay.
it was really cool that they all came out and had a good time, and it was the end of the tour. So I mean, we were drinking, having a good time, and pretty much a little family reunion, and it was cool. I liked it a lot.
Awesome. Yeah, Orange County. It sucks because I missed Periphery because my son worked late, but Under Oath was killer. And I mean, Southern SoCal shows are always great. I just saw Norma Jean a little while ago too. That they actually played in LA and they were amazing.
Yeah, that was their headline run, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was with Emery and Aaron Gillespie from Under Oath.
Okay, yeah. They're great dudes. I love those dudes.
Yeah, we need to get Corey on, Joey. I bet we should talk to them about getting Corey on again. I talked to him right when All Hail came out, which I freaking love that album.
Yeah. He's a great dude.
Did you grow up listening to Norma Jean? Like,
honestly, I always saw the name. I didn't listen to them. I really didn't listen to them. I was more. I mean, when I was coming up, I was way more into like I listened to like A Perfect Circle and Filter and like Deftones and Tool. Like that was my music choice, stuff like that. So I didn't get into much of them, but after meeting the guys, I'm definitely gonna go through their back catalog. I mean, them just as people won me over just to be a fan of their music. So it was cool. They're great guys.
Yeah, it sounds like you're into a lot of the more kind of this, like a lot of the stuff I am, like the grunge era, kind of like melodic type rock.
Yeah. Like my favorite record of all time is 13 Step Perfect Circle. I love that.
That's a great one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a bad track on that record, and that's just where my vein of music really, kind of stuck.
The one before that's great too, Murder Noms.
Oh yeah, Judith. I mean, Judith is like one of the best songs ever written, if you ask me. I mean, so good.
Oh man, I love that album. Or there's a song called Arrestes on there that's really good.
Yep.
And so much good. It's Brenya, like the very last song.
Oh
I
yeah,
love that.
dude.
Like that's a great record. Damn.
Yeah.
We just did these countdowns where we listed like our top 10 favorite records, and it's so hard to do that, to kind of narrow it down like that.
Well, we were doing like our top 10 of like a decade. So like we did the 90s first, and then we did one from like the 2000s, and it's so hard.
You gotta do 2010s next.
Yeah. Got to.
It's content for us. Well, Joey, sorry, I didn't. You got more questions?
I asked him about the songs I wanted to. So Blake, I mean, it's free for all here. If you want to plug anything or say anything to the listeners, and
just anybody listening. July 28th, the record drops. Make sure you follow us on any social media. Everything is Saul Band Official. Go to saulofficial.com. It's got direct links to everything you need. It has our music videos up there, direct links to our YouTube, everything. Just make sure, if you guys want to, follow along. If anytime you message any of the social media links, it goes directly to me. You are getting a personal message from myself. So don't think it's, you'll get the automated like, hey, thank you for messaging. But as soon as you get a message back, it always directly from me. So yeah, follow us along. Hopefully we see everybody out there on the Red Tour. And it's going to be exciting. I mean, I'm super, super excited about this record. And I'm super excited about this fall tour.
That's cool, man. We were actually just talking about bands giving it that personal touch too before you came on, how important that is. Like bands like Metallica who stayed 4 hours after their show and shake everyone's hands and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's important.
Yep. We always try to do that. I mean, anytime we play a show, we always make our way back into the crowd for pictures, or like make our way back to the merch stand to shake hands and sign stuff. I mean, we wouldn't be there without the fans. I mean, I don't get the shunning the people that are writing your paycheck. I don't understand that from some bands. Ronnie Radke. And so we always try to do that.
Yeah. We talk a lot about the backing track thing too lately.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we use backing tracks too. I mean, it's just part of the game anymore. But when we got to a venue on this last tour, our computer and everything went down. We call it barebacking. You just get up there and you bareback it and you just put on a fucking rock show. Get up there and do your fucking job.
That's just what we were talking about. It's just like,
attitude.
you know, if you use it, great. If your fans know you're using it, great. You know, but if something goes wrong, you still got to play your show. You know, like people paid to see you.
Yeah, and there's no shame in using technology. We talked to this guy a couple weeks ago from this band Fifth Angel, kind of an older thrash band, and he was even saying he's like I went and saw Kiss a few months ago and they were using backing tracks, and he's like, I didn't care. I was just happy to see one of my favorite bands, you know.
Right. Yeah. I saw Kiss a couple years ago and like they were playing with Def Leppard, and like Def Leppard, I don't know, man, those guys sounded amazing. Like super, super good. So by the time it got to Kiss, the sound quality and everything, I was just like, I'm going to see him for the nostalgia of it. But Def Leppard really brought the house down, man.
I grew up listening to Def Leppard, man. Like when I was in like 4th grade, rocking Hysteria, that was like game changer.
Yeah. Well, my wife absolutely loves Def Leppard because when she was a little girl in the car, her mom was cranking "Pour Some Sugar on Me" and stuff, and that's what they went grocery shopping and stuff too. You know, it's like amazing. The cassette of that. You know, so yeah.
We were talking about it on another show, but like both that song and Cherry Pie by Warrant, there's this comedian this comedy show I watch, Kill Tony, and like when they're making fun of a girl for being a stripper, they'll like play a clip of Cherry Pie or like Pour Some Sugar on Me.
Yeah.
But by the same token, those songs, like they're not like now that you could say, oh, that's like a stripper song. But like I grew up as a like, you know, wholesome little kid in Utah rocking, you know, Def Leppard. So probably same with your wife. Like
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's great. Well, you guys, I can't recommend enough. Check out this Saul album when it comes out on Friday. It's awesome. So. And then go to saulofficial.com. We can put a link or something in the notes here, and hopefully support you guys. So
get out and catch them live when they come to your town.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's up on our bands in town. It's up on everything. So, you know, we got the links up and we got everything up, all the dates. So, yeah, hopefully we see you guys out on the road, and we're just gonna tear it up.
Awesome.
Blake, it's been so great talking to you.
Yeah,
man.
Thank you for
guys.
taking the time.
Anytime, literally anytime.
Awesome.
Thanks so much.
Cool.
Take care of yourself, brother.
Yep. Later, fellas.